Open source projects can be more secure, but that requires that you trust the folks who are maintaining them.
So Matt, someone found a backdoor for Event Stream. Did you want to discuss that?
They didn't find a backdoor for Event Stream. They put one in Event Stream.
Perfect.
Yeah. So Event Stream was a popular Node.js package, and someone had been maintaining it for a while, decided they were tired of maintaining it because it is a lot of work to maintain an open source tool like that, and then they gave it off to somebody who expressed interest. This person, over time, on several commits, added a backdoor into it, which would look for the use of a certain Bitcoin wallet from a company called Copay, and would then steal the information needed to access that wallet. And this package, Event Stream, was actually downloaded by like 1 million different people, no, 2 million times over its lifetime, according to the stats. So this is quite interesting, mostly because it raises the question of stewardship of open source code. Because for a long time, people have argued that open source code is inherently more secure because there are more eyeballs looking at it.
Even though it is touted as, being fairly secure in the sense that you have a lot of people sort of crowdsourcing, the code, there is still an opportunity for things to go wrong and get hacked.
Do you think the jig is up? It's been fixed? And
yes, so that is the case. The code has been fixed. The affected package has been pulled. So if you're somebody using this code, it's time for you to go and update. And the newest version of that package should be clean.
Did it say anywhere in the article how many times it's actually been downloaded since it was discovered?
They did not say that, no.
Okay.
It does sound like the impact is fairly limited. I mean, if the company that makes this Bitcoin wallet said that effectively they were able to discover it before the latest release came out. So that's one thing.
Okay.
And if you weren't explicitly running this wallet, you shouldn't be affected at all. So it seemed relatively targeted. If you want a good analysis of the code, the GitHub history actually has a very good description and discussion of what this was all about. They talk about, some people will throw in and say, here's what I think this code is doing. It's a little bit interesting because the compromised module, the first thing they did was they made a reference to a secondary module was added to it. So some external code is being called, but that external code, which is obfuscated, is what's actually pulling off the heist. Okay. And that was kind of interesting to look at as well, but a little more technical than we usually go into detail on this show.
Right. Yeah. No, I think the biggest point here is that obviously you've got something that's sitting in open source, which, as you said before, is supposed to sort of limit the potential exposure for this because you have an open source community that is technically supposed to have eyes on it at all times, right? So as soon as somebody makes a change to it, somebody else is going to take a look at it and say, hey, wait, what's going on here? So, but clearly there's going to be times when there are these windows where code gets inserted and you might not have somebody who takes a look at it, right?
It's almost like an insider threat kind of thing, where
yeah, I would say so. I mean, if
there's an insider who, like you said, controlled the software, purposely put this backdoor in, maybe even targeted at somebody who he knew was using that wallet, It's possible. So it suggests that they knew a significant amount about the way that the wallet worked in order for that to happen. Right. So I think that the upshot of this is if you are maintaining an open source product, the onus is kind of on you to make sure that all the changes that are presented to you, that you choose to add to the product, are properly vetted. Yep. And also to understand that not everyone in the community, and that's one of the funny things about open source, is that there's a very much of a sharing and openness about it. Sometimes you have to sort of look at things with a critical eye and say, is the person I'm handing off my project to going to be a good steward to it? And if you can't answer that question affirmatively and resoundingly, then maybe you shouldn't be letting them take it over. Right. Yep. Nothing's 100%. So even though you're using open source, be wary of security flaws, of potential vulnerabilities, and then definitely patch and update any of your software, whether it's open source or a vendor product or homegrown.